What's up, guys? I'm going to show you guys how to make this sort of Supersaw sound, but it's kind of, well, I'm going to show you guys how to make a Supersaw sound in Massive, and as you can see here on my chain, that I just have a little bit of high pass and some side chain EQ. Nothing out of the ordinary there, so do that to your taste, and let's jump into Massive. So I'm just going to solo this for you and play it for you, and before I do that, just realize that there is some automation here on the cutoff, so you can see that I'm going to start it from the beginning and you're going to hear the cutoff. And I'll show you guys what notes I'm playing in case you're interested in what octave I'm in. I'm in the F2 octave around there, so you know, octave 2. And let's see, so yeah, pretty much around there. And now let's go into Massive. So it's a very simple Supersaw sound, and it's kind of a nice preset because I have my cutoff already ready for me to use. But let's start off with the oscillators. So Oscillator 1, oh actually let's start off with voicing, because just like you would in Silent or any other synthesizer, you would want to put your voicing up the right way, so that way you get all the notes being played properly. So you want to have this on 16 to 16 poly, and trigger would be always. And if you want, you can turn on pan position, so I'll play it for you without it and then I'll turn it on so you guys can hear the difference. Now it's just going to sort of make it a little wider, or you can center in the mono. But I just have it off for right now because I'm not too sure where it's going to end up in the track. So right now it's off, but you guys can figure that out. But just realize when you turn this on and you add more width, these are pretty much the same, except that they're just this one's inverted from that one. But when you do turn this on, you do lose a little bit of gain, so you might just want to bring your master up just a slight bit if you lose too much gain. And let's see, so okay, that's our voicing, 16 by 16 poly, always, la la la. And you can see that I assume that you guys, when you guys go to a new sound, you guys get a little bit of vibrato here, because I do use it in this preset here, or in this patch, I mean. And you can see my vibrato is right around there. And glide towards that. We're not using the oscillator phases, restart via gate. We're not using that right now. And okay, so now we can get into our oscillators. I've explained that a bit. Also, my envelope 4, which is the amp envelope, or at least the one that's assigned to it by default. I didn't touch anything there, so don't worry about that. Okay, finally, oscillator 1. I know, we've been waiting to get there. So this is a square saw 2, so that's just right here. This is on spectrum, 1 octave down, so if you hold down option and while clicking in this box you can drag down octaves quickly, so like that. You can see I'm going up octaves very quickly instead of having to, you know, go manually like that. That's kind of, nobody's got time for that, so whatever. And all the knob parameters are just up all the way, and this is between filter 1 and 2. And oscillator 2 is very much the same. It's a square saw wave 2, spectrum 1 octave down, all the parameters are up all the way, and it's in between filter 1 and 2. And oscillator 3, pretty much this, very much the same, except that this one is 1 octave up instead of 1 octave down, so 1 octave above 0. And these parameters are up all the way. This is a spectrum, square saw wave 2, and between filter 1 and 2. And let's get into, well, we're not using noise or feedback, so make sure these are off. Unless you want to throw in a little white noise, that'd be cool. But just, you know, throw it to your filter 1 so it can kind of low pass it if you want. Okay, so now for our modulation oscillator. So I brought this down an octave, and I put a little bit of ring mod on oscillator 1, so you can see that I can assign this ring mod parameter to either oscillator 1, 2, or 3. And it's usually to me, I've always found that throwing any of these little effects or mode things onto Oscillator 1 is the most effective. If you That doesn't mean you can't get good sounds throwing it, a phase onto Oscillator 2 or 3 or a ring mod on 2 or 3, but I find that because it's Oscillator 1 and these sort of follow along with that whatever you do to Oscillator 1 usually will make the sound best, if you get what I'm saying. But as you can see, I've just put the ring mod here on Oscillator 1 right around there, and I put the phase kind of right around here, so let's say like 9 o'clock ish. And okay, so that's pretty much all I did here. Now let's go to our filters. So just make sure, like in most cases, that it's right here on parallel. There'll be a few times where it'll be on serial, but for right now it's on parallel. And let's see. So our first filter is a low pass 4, so it's just right here, just a very basic, the most basic filter pretty much, or filter type. And just make sure that this knob right here is up all the way. Our cutoff is down all the way, but as you can see, we bring in this little macro and we just place it in there and drag it all the way to the right. And our reso is just right down the middle where it is when you open this, and that's pretty much it. So filter 2, you can either have a low pass 2 or I find acid is kind of cool for certain things, but this is just a scream. And you can see that the cutoff is sort of right around there. Drag in this same macro that you used in filter 1, drop it in here, bring it up all the way to the right, then place your scream right around there, pointing at the 2 sorta, and the reso kind of pointing at this knob, and this knob has to be up all the way too. So when this knob is pointing up all the way, point this shit right at it, like just to confirm. And of course our mix is in between our filter 1 and 2, because there's no point to have filter 2 when our knob is up all the way. So just make sure it's like right there. And let's go into inserts real quick. And also, reason why I follow inserts after filters is because that's the way it is in the routing. So my filters go first, then my inserts, unless I'm placing my inserts first before my filters, but that's a different story. So okay, our insert is another filter. And it's just like, as you can see, it's just a high pass and low pass. So my low pass is kind of just high passing that low end right around there. And it's pointing at this on and off button. So it's just making sure it's on. Like, hey, be on. Okay. And our low pass is sort of just over here. And for insert 2, we have a parabolic shaper. And the dry wet is up all the way. And drive is almost all the way up. So... but it's just a little bit down, so you could just drag it up all the way and then listen to it to your own tastes and drag it down a bit. Okay, so we covered all this. There's no envelopes or LFOs I need to show you, and I pretty much showed you guys all this stuff and the oscillators, so all that's left is our FX, which in the case of a Supersaw, it's nice to have some delay. So this is a synced delay, or delay synced. And as you can see, that this is probably the most important part. So the left and right is at 1/4, and the right is 1/16. And just if you're using layers, and you're using delays, you kind of want to make sure that in the song that you use the same sort of like time signatures for your delays, because if I have another layer like this, or a copy of this layer, but I changed it up a bit, but I still have these delays on, but I decided to change one delay on one preset to 1/8 over 1/4, and then have another one at 1/4 over 1/16, they're going to clash a bit. Unless that's intentional, it's really not a good idea. So you want to make sure you have all these kind of on the same one. So same as this one, this is my layer to this one, and I will show you, this is one of the presets I have in the massive pack, and you can see that my delay is similar to the one I have and here. So that way they kind of delay together, and it's just makes it sound like it's not 2 layers but one big preset. So that's kind of a cool way to melt 2 different sounds to sound like one. So the delays will give you that extra impression that it's one big sound instead of layers. Okay, that was kind of hard to explain on my part. Okay, so you probably noticed or probably got down the parameters for for the delay already, so I'll just go over it real quick. Dry wet is just around 10 o'clock. Damp is sort of like 3 o'clock, and feedback is kind of like 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock, I guess. Or yeah, whatever. You see where it is. And the reverb right here is just dry wet is right around here. Size kind of pointing at this blue dot. And density and color up all the way. And that's pretty much it. So hopefully what you guys have is this. Or let me play from here. So past this point, the cutoff is up all the way. So if your cutoff macro is up all the way, then this is what you should have. So it is like a Supersaw, but it's sort of more, I don't really know how to explain, but it's a different type of Supersaw. It's more the kind that I like to use. So it has the characteristics of a Supersaw, but listening to it, it's not a very typical one. But it still acts and sounds and has its place in the song as a Supersaw. And when I play this with my automate the cutoff preset from the massive pack I made for ABLETONLIVETECHS.com, you'll hear them play together, and especially with those delays being synced and in the same time, they'll kind of sound humongous and big. So check that out. So that's what you guys should have, and hopefully you guys like this. Remember to like and subscribe, helps us out, lets us know what you guys like and don't like, lets us know if we should keep doing these sort of things for you guys. And if you guys have any requests or anything like that, be sure to request a song, remake, tutorial, whatever you want in the comment section below, or send us a message. We do listen to all your feedback, and we do constantly improve on the changes that you guys suggest. And other than that, have a great day, and thanks for watching, you guys.